The Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derbies, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of May Mania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
Good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Crash Course.
The video's not playing on that TV.
What did you like? The video's not playing on the TV?
I like how you get to the point sometimes, Chris Marquardt.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, not
always. Sometimes it's a little tougher than others. Why isn't that on there?
I don't know. Is everything? I don't care as long as it's going out over the air.
Yeah. I can double check here.
I can triple check here if you want.
Yeah, just triple check there.
I'll triple check here. Still yelling at me for being on my phone.
Nope.
Welcome to episode 249.
I know. Can you believe it? 249.
That's the first time I've ever got to welcome us to an episode. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Now you get to wait until episode 498 before you get to do it again.
That's awesome.
But we're going to talk to...
According to this, we're on air, live.
Good. Rob Heuer's going to be on the air. Jacob Wood's going to be on the air. We're going to be talking a little bit about the limited Weld teams, Team Caddy Nation and Team OMM. On the compact side of things, is the run-up to Blizzard Bash continues to amplify. People are looking at their calendars and trying to do the math to squeeze extra days out so that they can finish everything as we get ready for the biggest demolition derby in the country. Another one. Here it is. It's knocking on the door.
Blizzard Bash 9.
It is 9.
Is what I've been seeing.
Yeah.
It's you see a lot of cool things on Facebook, a lot of cool pictures, a lot of cool videos. I've talked to a couple guys. Some guys are more ahead of schedule than usual, and some guys are right log schedule where they usually are this time. So, you can feel as a whole, you can feel the tension kind of building across the Derby Nation. It's crazy, man. There's a lot of sleepless nights. There's a lot of cool stuff. A lot of work being done, and a lot of guys pushing the rules, and it's crazy.
Well, we got Jacob Wood joining us here and now, and let's see. There we go. We got Jacob now. Jacob's running with Team OMM, and where are you at in terms of your build right now, trying to get everything done for Blizzard Bash? Are you ahead of schedule? Are you behind schedule? How are things going?
Right on schedule.
On schedule?
Perfect.
On schedule meaning you're about 3 days behind, or on schedule?
No, we should be done. I got 3 days off this week, so I should have it done within the next 3 days.
What's the
I
card?
gotta work all weekend, so.
What's the card choice this year?
W-body.
Yeah.
Nice.
Why haven't the Fox bodies taken off as heavy as maybe they should have compared to something like a Camry or the W bodies in Topeka?
You can't shorten the front ends on them. They're so long on the front. They allow us to shorten the W bodies, but on the rear-wheel drives, you can't shorten the front ends. That's why all them guys are running Camaros.
So is that going to be... Is that something that's going to be advocated for in the rule meetings, looking ahead to Blizzard Bash 2019?
It should be.
Yeah, so I mean,
would do that in Bash for Cash. That's why you see so many of them up there.
Right. I mean, the rule precedent already exists, so
yeah.
You'd think, you guys have had success and you've been in the mix every year that you've been out there in Topeka, but the atmosphere there continues to change, and it continues to push the bar. And you look at, if you just look at the national bracket, the qualifying bracket, the level of competition has continued to go up and up and up. And in the Blizzard Bash ripple effect, by proxy, the local type events level of competition has gone up and up and up, because these guys are matching up against each other all the time. They know how tough the cars can be built for Blizzard Bash. Have you seen any of that trickle-down effect on the compact side of things in your home area, or in some of these events that you travel to be part of, where that level of intensity has increased year-round, not just tied to Blizzard Bash?
Yeah, we went to a derby in Salem, Missouri, and there was probably 5 or 6 Blizzard Bash drivers there with Blizzard Bash cars, and it was a really tough derby. And, I mean, you'd have never thought that, but when we got there, we knew we had our hands full. But it was actually the ATS guys.
Okay, yeah.
On the one.
A2S is Tony Brellinger, PJ Schnarr, right. Nick Austin, and TJ Irvin this year.
Right.
And
it's a pretty tough team.
Yeah, those guys
finished
with, I think they had 3 cars in the top 5 last year.
Yeah.
They did okay.
Yep, they're good drivers. Yeah.
They did okay.
You know, it's so cool to get out there. I mean, we've touched. You know, obviously, you know, when we started, you know, we were just used to the compacts around here. But then as we started going farther west and to see what guys were doing, and I really feel like, you know, Blizzard Bash is like the top of the heap for all the classes. I mean, you know, you get the best compact builders and drivers, you know, in both classes. I mean, you know, they keep the pace with the full size cars. I mean, you guys get after it,
and they hold up like full size cars.
Oh yeah,
there's W bodies.
Yeah, there's some awesome builds out there. And, I mean, we were there last year, and I know you know, we were up in our booth, and you know, I heard somebody pull out and rev up a motor, and I looked because it sounded like it was a small block, but it was, you know, somebody with a carbureted, you know, 3100, and it was so impressive. I mean, the time and talent that these guys are putting into building these cars is just so impressive. I mean, they've really, you know, stepped it up the last few years.
Team OM, Josh Wood, Jacob Wood, Kurt Turpin, and Jordan Tobin. This is the first year Jordan's run with you, right?
Yep. He's a newbie. He hasn't ran out there at all, so
wow.
He's gonna get a dose. But we got our other 3. Us 3 have been together every time we've been out there, so
right.
We feel pretty confident.
And Plum Nasty's back. Haley Cochran, Jacob Daniels, Tyler Ford, Tracy Miller going to be on track. We've got Can America, which is kind of cool. Thad Church from Kansas, Adam Halbert from Canada, Tej Ridnius. I know I'm saying his name wrong, just is what it is. From Iowa, and Paul Yendoven from up in Canada. These are some of the new teams that are cropping up with some of the old names. As we see the same thing that's happened time and time again on the national side. They splinter off in different pockets, go different places.
See how the draft goes.
But then you get into teams like the Midmo Maniacs, Jared Lampke, Juan Velasquez, Ryan Claypool, Ryan Seelock. They're going to be good.
Yeah.
Minnesota Madness, Jared Fisher, Nate Middendorf, Mike Cook, and Andy Oxa. They're probably going to be good. Compact Cadillacs, Kevin Ullman, Scott Mulder, Ben Lehner, Shea Ford. They're going to be first or second, right?
The way it's gone, yeah, they're usually right there at the end.
I mean, the gray areas backing in this year, all Wisconsin cars, Ralph Lijois, RJ Lijois, Ian Lesansky, and Tim Mickus. Timmer, we saw him run last year. So, I mean, that's just a portion of the roster. Their A2S, I think, has a second team because
really?
Some of the similar names. It's A2Z, Andrew Johannes, Scott Johannes, Ben Lentz, and Andrew Gamble. It could be just coincidence that the name is that, but they're also all from they're all from Iowa. So I don't know if it's going to be connected or not, to be honest. But Mitch Tomka, remember Mitch Tomka? He had the Regal with those monster truck motor rear tires.
Yep.
He's on the 402 crew. Andrew Norton, Brandon Skock, and Brandon Kilcoyne. All on that team. Mike Worth and Derek Worth are running on Team GSI.
Oh, no kidding.
Justin Pick and Jacob Spieler are going to be with him. Kenneth Duff's back this year. Lane Crawl, Jeremy Savage, Travis Sawyer, and that's Team Bad Boys. Austin Deering's got a team this year with Taylor Kraft, Josh Brown, and Matt Ernst. I mean, it just keeps going and going, and that's one of the things, like, with the way that this compact side has evolved is you're getting compact guys that are just as much household names as the big cars, and that's going to come with the atmosphere. I mean, how many teams were in the first year? There was only 4 or 5, right?
There were supposed to be 10 or 8, I think, and only 7 showed up.
Yeah, and then you guys ended up in the feature, and it was you guys and Plum Crazy duking it out that first year, and then the second year it was a little bit more, but this year it's stacked.
Yeah,
it's the same amount as the national teams, I believe.
Yeah,
there's like 16 teams, I think.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's the thing. I mean, that's compact is definitely the fastest growing class in America. I mean, it's obviously there's different builds, but man, it just seems like every derby you go to, there is so many compacts. It's without it, and you're seeing the so many more aftermarket parts being built for compacts.
That I'll agree with.
Yeah,
I don't know if I would go with you on it being the fastest growing class in America because it's been so prevalent for so long. But the aftermarket parts thing, for sure, I almost think that like the chain and go wire class is starting to gain momentum faster than the compacts. The compacts have been so well established, but definitely with the aftermarket parts. I mean, what do you think? What do you think, Jacob? Is the compact side of things the fastest growing in the country?
Down here, they're starting to branch off just like in the big cars. You got a Weld compact, then you got a wire class compact, and then they put the vans with the compact. So basically, you can have a whole derby of just compacts sometimes down here.
That's cool.
How's your big car population? Last time we talked, the big cars were a little bit on the decline. It was starting to get harder and harder to draw the full-size cars, maybe a dozen, 15 or so, but the compacts were always strong.
Yeah, you're probably talking. I think this year they were able to have heats, but it's just a stock build, and there's probably 20. I'd say 20, 25. Most places I go.
The field is elite. We've sort of already established that. You've only got 64 drivers out there that made it into this cut. What's next for the compact game at Blizzard Bash? Is it more money? Is it a qualifying bracket as well? There's got to still be drivers that are out there. I can start. Once we think a little bit, there's some people that I'd like to see come and try on the compacts. Well, Ohio and Minnesota as well. Yeah. There's some of those. Remember the Katzenbacks?
Yep.
From Winter Slam?
Yep.
Can you imagine if the four of them came down?
They'd fit right in.
It would be awesome. It'd be great to see
to
see them mix in. What's next for the compact side of things?
I think the qualifying thing would be a great idea. Or they have so much stuff going on that they really don't have time for us to run more than we run.
Yeah.
So they almost have to split it up.
Well, what about your structure right now? I think you guys only get one heat on track versus some of the bigger brackets. They have to do a couple rounds, even if they win. There's no free pass direct to the AMA. You guys go direct and they just fill the track. Are the cars strong enough to maintain 2 rounds of qualifying?
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
I think they could do it.
I think it'd be cool to go through 2 rounds of qualifying. Mm-hmm. To open the track up more in the A main.
Oh, we would love to go 4-on-4 twice. That's our favorite part.
That's everybody's favorite part.
Absolutely.
Of Blizzard Bash is that 4-on-4, that 4-on-4. Right. Go on. You're starting to say?
Yeah, there's nothing like that. I mean, there's nowhere to hide. So we just love running that part of it. In the feature, there's a lot of politics, but in the heats, there's nothing to do. It's just man on man, and we love that.
Yeah, that's one thing that I don't think will ever change. I mean, last year we saw in the big cars, especially, you didn't see the wide open pace. There was definitely a more calculated, calculated driving. But like you said, in those heats, man, there's nowhere to hide. You just stand on the gas and try to get it done as quick as possible.
I don't think there's a way to get the politicking out of it, though.
No,
you're still going to go with as much money as on the line, and the stakes are so high. You're still going to get the chess match battle dancing out there as much as it's anything else, and it falls off for a while, but then somebody gets itchy and throws a haymaker, and all the bets are off.
But you see, last year during the big car feature, we never had the frenetic pace that we've had before.
Good word.
There was some there was some short skirmishes, but I mean there was teams that had guys picked out on other teams that were getting taken out right now. Bobby Brockway being one. I mean, they said go, and he had 6 guys on him instantly. It was. They definitely was there. There was draft picks done, and there was who was getting what done after that. So, but that's the thing. You're never going to get that out of that. You're always going to have it, like you said, with that much money and that much prestige on the line. But when it comes down to the end and the feature, I mean, I don't think anybody wants to split first place at Blizzard Bash. So I mean, when it comes down to it, it's going to be every team for themselves at the end. So
Jacob, I don't remember the compacts being quite as narrowly scoped, though. It seemed like there was a couple guys, maybe the guys from all the same state. Those 6 or 8 all ran together, and these 6 or 8 all ran together, and these 4 all ran together. But ultimately, there was still enough of a mishmash where the action was pretty good.
Oh yeah, that's about the way it is. It's usually 2 or 3 teams run together if you can make the feature, and then you just hope the guys that you're with last. And it didn't happen last time.
Well, I mean, there was some pretty insane hits leveled in the middle of that track. Ooh. If you got out there, because the thing is usually the rule around here is just don't get sideways in the middle of the track. There, no matter which way you're going in a giant rectangle, you're sideways.
Yeah, it's
those little cars, you can get a run with stuff that you can't with the big cars.
Yeah, that's the thing out there is they, especially with the little cars. I mean, they pick up speed so fast. I mean, we talked about last week how they're spinning tires. Well, the little cars are getting instant traction, and I mean most of them run a nice aggressive front tire, and man, they get on the gas and they are picking up speed right now. That's some of the hardest hits we've seen have been in compacts. There has been some nasty shots out there. And
remember when T got knocked in the back of his car last year?
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was one of the wildest hits I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was insane. But it's such a great show, and I mean these drivers, our hats go off to them every year. We talk about how how hard they drive and the building they're doing. It's just every year it gets better and better.
Right. How you alluded to getting into the feature and hoping that the rest of the team hung in there with you and they were able to last. And when the momentum starts picking up and the pace picks up, you got to keep your head on a swivel. At this point, with the number of times that you guys have been and you've made the feature. Is that still the goal? I mean, is there still how tough is it to make the feature, first of all, and then beyond that, what's Team OMM walk away with if they make the feature? But
well, it's hard to make the feature with the teams that are there. Right. I mean, you got some crazy competition, but if we make the feature, we're just there to put on a show.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Don't care less about the winning.
We're
just there to put on a show. That's why we like the heat so much.
Right.
A lot more running room.
Is there any thought process or conversation, especially with the new edition, that maybe putting on a little bit less of a show in the heat would help you in the feature?
That's why we got him. We're all hammers, and hopefully his car is still good.
I like it.
He knows how to hide, and he knows it.
I like it.
That's cool.
Now we've talked to drivers a lot, and obviously you've ran out there a bunch of times. Do you every time you pull onto that track from the the dark outside into the bright lights, or for a feature they usually kind of dim it down in there, but do you get the same feeling in your stomach every time you pull out there? I mean, is it the same for the heat as it is for the feature, or is it even more intense feeling when you pull out for a feature? Or, I mean, what's it like to pull on the track? I mean, how do you feel? What kind of stuff's going through your head? What's it like?
It's the most nervous, cool feeling ever. That's why when you pull out there and it's dark, and then all of a sudden it's light, and there's all them people are there. It's really cool. There's nothing like it. I've been derbying for 15 years, and there's nothing like that feeling at all. Yeah. It's just cool.
Yeah, I can't imagine that. That's got to be something just so spectacular. But I mean, then they say go, and boy, do you guys have to go. It's very, very fast paced. Great show, man. That's I've said it 100 times, and I'll say it 100 more. People probably get sick of hearing me, but that's one place where if it's the only big derby you're ever going to go see, you got to go that one, because the heats alone are worth the price of admission.
Yeah, you guys in the compacts they have to run 2 or potentially 3 features if they come through the B.
Oh yeah.
And your short turnaround time, you guys are just as pinned in terms of time as the big car guys. That's all things equal. There's no easy division.
Or there is easy divisions. They're the one and done. You wreck it, put it on a trailer, watch it this weekend.
Wow.
Which I don't even know if they have any one and dones anymore because they're so busy with the classes. But for the guys that got to rebuild stuff and make it to the next round, it's just insane.
I mean, Jacob, where's the sport evolved to in the repair sense and what you're doing in the pits from where things were? I mean, years ago, if you lost the front end or you lost the drive shaft and the nose of a W body, you just sent it to the scrapyard. It was the end of it. Now people are building, even to the extent where there was those trial runs with the sliders that you could stick into the front end to help let those telescope in and out a little bit. What are you guys doing to cars in the pits in terms of the repairs beyond the obvious body work?
Well, the first year, the year we won, my motor locked up right after the heat, so we changed the motor. But it doesn't matter. We'll do whatever we can to help each other out to get out there, and we'll help all the other teams too. I mean, most of us, all of the compact teams, it's pretty cool. We're all friends.
Cool.
So, I mean, we'll do whatever it takes to get out there in the feature.
Yeah, that's
the guys we're going against. I mean,
yeah, because if you want to go out there and beat Team OMM, or you want to go out there and beat Plum Crazy, or you go out there and you want to beat A2S, this doesn't apply to compact Cadillacs. You want to have all of them out there.
Oh, we want them out there too. We want us out there.
Those guys have got a lot of trophies out of Topeka.
Yeah, they've done all right for themselves.
If the road to the win goes through A2S and compact Cadillacs, this year, just off of last year's show. So I mean, is it to the extent where you guys are traveling with extra motors, just like the big car counterparts? Or has it got to a point where it's that involved, or did you happen to have another car that you bought down there? How did you come across having a spare motor, and what are we doing with front ends and things like that to sort of safeguard yourself from running into something silly?
Oh, everything. Motors, trains, struts, racks. We take extra subframes. We can pretty much do anything right there.
Wow. Right
there at the track, you can change.
Brian's never changed his
front end of the car.
Brian's never changed his subframe in a car, period.
No, never.
Let alone do it in the parking lot.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, when you change a motor in one of those, you probably drop it out the bottom, right? That's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, sometimes. It just depends on how bent up it is.
Wow.
If it's really bent up, that you can just pop it right out the top. That's what we did.
That's great.
Just a couple bolts.
That's awesome.
How bad can it be, right?
Yeah, how bad can it be? That's
right.
Great.
Just the whole endeavor is just crazy when you think about where compacts were versus where they've come to. When you look at the trend of it. I mean, remember when the Corsica was the hottest compact car you get your hand on around here, and now we're seeing the Pacers. They've moved from a new life, and they're sort of secondary to consider when you're looking at some of the Mustang 2s and some of the Pinto stuff, and now the Fox bodies. We've seen old Mustangs. We've seen mid-'90s Mustangs. The Camaros are a hot car of choice. I mean, and people weren't even considering that.
Yeah.
Even 6-7 years ago.
Yep. Yeah.
So I think it's really cool, but the one mainstay has always been the Lumina.
Yeah. What I think about that's even funnier, I remember when the Lumina was like the new hot car for Chevy.
Right.
And that's what Dale Earnhardt was running, was a Chevy Lumina. I'm like, you look back now and you're like, how do we ever look at those things and think they were like a fancy, sporty looking car? But.
Well, then they fixed it though. They made the 2-door a Monte Carlo and the 4-door was a Lumina.
Yeah, there you go.
So they
really fixed it.
They put the Band-Aid on it a little bit. At least it said Monte Carlo like it did back in '85.
Yeah.
But sure, I mean it's true. I mean all things must evolve to stay, right?
Absolutely.
And here we are looking at the compacts and what a roster they've got. Before we let you go, how's everything going with Lucky Sevens?
Good. It's just a figure-8 deal this year. Next year we'll pick up a few derbies and start going down that path. So we'll see this summer or this winter. We're going to try to pick up a few shows and go on from there and start down that path.
That's cool.
Very cool.
Lucky 7 Promotions.
We'll see what happens.
They've been fledgling promotership out there and trying to get on their feet along those lines. How did the figure 8 stuff go?
Great. Everything went good. Everybody was happy. Drivers were happy. Fairboards were happy. So everything was good.
Well,
Both
you
of
should.
them want us back. So
Then you should quit right now, because if you have everybody happy, you have struck you have struck gold. You've got lightning in a bottle. Quit
It'll
now,
never happen
because
again.
it'll never happen again.
that's probably true.
Just real quick, what type of cars did you guys have run for the figure 8? I know sometimes they actually have race cars, for a better term. I mean, was it a junkyard class of figure 8, or was it a type of race cars, or what did you guys have run?
They're 107-inch wheelbase and under, so
Okay.
we don't let the Luminas and stuff run with them.
Yep. Gotcha.
Mostly Cavaliers is what guys run. Some of them, it's just like Derby, and some of them build their
Okay.
cars all winter, and they look just like circle track cars, and some of them build them the day before. So
Gotcha. Cool. I've
Just
seen different
kinda
pictures from
whatever.
stuff out there.
it's huge down here, though. It's crazy how big it is down here.
Yeah. I've seen some videos and some.
We were in Owenton, Kentucky, and they were pushing real hard with that arena racing. I can't remember what they called it. It wasn't quite a figure 8, but it wasn't quite a.
They called it circle track there.
Yeah, it was something.
But it was kind of like a full contact circle track.
Yeah.
It was kind of neat. I mean, it was the
fun
first
to
time
watch.
we'd seen it like that. It was.
Other than weed sport.
Yeah. Yeah, you ain't kidding there.
Remember when they had the Enduros as the weekly class? We talked about that on 31st Lap on Thursday. Just clicked off 250 on Thursday for that.
We're only one behind you?
Yeah. And we just clicked off 50 2 weeks ago for final round. So just knocking over the dominoes like crazy. 2-year anniversary and number 50 fell on that Thursday, so that was kind of neat. But the enduro classes there were pretty rough and tumble, and you did catch the cars that were allowed.
Yeah.
You hear that?
Yeah.
The Lumina guy
Doesn't want
Luminas to get wrecked there.
No.
Better
He wants
chance.
them all stacked up at his shop so he can wreck them. He doesn't want them getting wrecked on in his figure 8 races. No, I understand.
Is there anybody that has helped make sure that the team gets there? I know you guys got an absolute army that's putting those cars together.
Oh yeah, we the actual cars we usually try to put them together ourselves. This is the first year I've actually had help. A bunch of guys came over and helped me put my cage in, and holy crap, that helped so much. We got it done in all night, and I'd like to thank them guys. We got J&B Promotions. They help us get out there. They pay our entry fee, so we really appreciate that.
Awesome.
We got Trailer Trends. They give us an enclosed trailer. My buddy Brian gives us a 2-car trailer. I mean, it's just the whole town kicks in pretty much to get us out there. And then there's a bunch of people that come and watch us, help us in the pits, and we really appreciate it.
That's cool.
Very cool.
You got to have help in the pits there.
Oh God, yes. And that's the thing. We always talk about the on-track stuff, but I mean, if you're a real Derby fan and you're into the whole sport, you need to go out and walk through those pits and see what these drivers and crews are doing to get cars back to run again for the next.
There are
They
people.
better not walk too close, though. They might have to help.
Yeah,
Get
very
recruited.
true. Very true.
But there's people that go with the intention of helping in the pits that never see a car get run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
yeah.
they've got 4 cars they got to fix and stuff like that. So the only time they're not working on cars is when the cars that they just put back together are getting torn up again.
Yeah. That's, and I mean, that's kind of how it goes. I mean, guys they're there to help with what. I mean, there's guys there that only see 3 or 4 heats out of the entire weekend because that's when their car runs. Because they're all the rest of the time they're busy rebuilding stuff.
Yep.
I mean, out of a 4-day derby or 5-day derby, it's to only see a heat a day. That's dedication. That's a lot of hard work.
It's also a lot of welding.
Yeah, there's a lot of suntans come out of.
How many? I don't actually know this. I don't know if I've ever asked this question. How many fix-it plates do you guys get between the heat and the feature?
I think it's 4 a side. I don't remember now.
Yeah, I don't either.
Side, though.
If you do it right, you don't need any.
Yeah.
Can always use fix-it plates.
Yeah.
It's just like Jell-O. There's always room for more.
Well, Jacob, man, I appreciate you coming on the show, and we sure wish you the best of luck out there. You guys always perform well, and it'd be sure nice to see you guys pick up a second one.
We really appreciate it. Thanks for everything you guys do.
For sure. We're looking forward to it. Check in with us when you get back.
All right, thanks.
We'll see you later, Jacob.
Bye.
There goes Jacob Wood, Team OMM. I think we got through all the teams on the compact side of things. What I should have done is gone in order.
That would have worked.
I think the only one that we might have missed was TPPC. Brent Palmer, Travis Moyer, Seth Lundy, and Billy Scott. I think we got everybody else. SAF, Jimmy Sonic, John Schreiner, Corey Peterson, Jeremiah Adams. I think that covers all of them. We've talked about it now for a half hour, so we should probably give everybody the lowdown. Yeah, I think so. What's the name of the arena? It's the home of the Topeka Roadrunners.
Oh,
it's right up by the scoreboard.
It is.
Landon Arena,
Kansas Expo Center. Why did you do that to me? I have feelings. It hurts, man. You can't put me on the spot like that.
Landon Arena at the Kansas Expo Center is the home of Blizzard Bash 2018 in Topeka, Kansas. November the 7th is the Heat Draws, that huge pit party where everybody goes from laid back and relaxed to tense as hell, and they don't relax again until Sunday. The Heat Draws for the national bracket and qualifying bracket, 7 o'clock, November the 7th. November the 8th is the first round of action for both the national bracket and the qualifying bracket. Action starts at 4 o'clock. It'll be over with probably around 11 o'clock, and in those 7 hours, you're going to, well, I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic they're going to stand on it. We're going to have a couple of those 4 or 5 minute heats, but yeah, it's going to be rough and tumble night right there, because you've got 16 heats to get through, and it all starts.
It's usually the first night of eating at Denny's at 1 o'clock in the morning for us.
Yep, that's the time. November the 9th at 5 o'clock, Jacob Wood and his crew are going to be drawing their heats, and so is Rob Heuer. They're going to be doing their heat draws at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, their second round of qualifying for the national and qualifying brackets on the 9th. November the 10th is the twin bill. That starts at 10 o'clock with all of the heats for the compacts and limited weld teams. That night at 6 o'clock is all the Team B features, the trucks, the limited weld one and dones. November the 11th is the bone stock heat and the 80s mod and all of the Team A mains. So that is your rundown. Online for additional details, blizzardbash.com. The Fantasy League is up and running. You can find the links to that. Ultimate Derby's page has it. Smash's page has it. They've got all the stuff on blizzardbash.com as well. Plenty of information out there. Pay-per-view information has been trickling out as well. So all that information is out there, so you can order it, take it in from home. But if anything that you do in your lifetime, you've got to get to Topeka once to take that show in first person. Because it will shake your teeth out of your head.
Oh, yeah.
When you're 3 rows up.
Real quick, I just wanted to touch Saturday, Jeremy Gully and the guys from Spinning Wheels, they got together with the Sanfilippo family, and they made the drawing for the 4 NASCAR tickets, hot passes, and pit passes. Mm-hmm. And the winner of that was Grace Stilson. Okay. And then Jeremy handed them a check to the Sanfilippo Foundation for $51,050, and before that they'd gotten $3,200. So the Spinning Wheels team had raised $54,250.
Pretty good
to go towards Sanfilippo research and the like. So really awesome thing done by the Derby community, and obviously headed up by Jeremy and Spinning Wheels and his family to try to combat a really shitty disease. So, yep. Hats off to all those, that whole entire crew.
Front to back.
Hopefully they can take it easy for a little while before they start planning for next year.
Yep. It'll take about what? How long does deer season go?
Yeah. No, I'm sure he's already been working on stuff. They've been doing some hunting, but I'm sure he's already thinking about next year.
All right. So Rob Heuer joining us online. Rob, how are you?
Doing real good.
That's good. And representing Team Caddy Nation, Trey Heuer, Rob Heuer, Teddy Papadopoulos, and Mason Larson added to that team this year. So what are the prospects for the team this year?
Oh, I think we're looking real good. Jake, not having Jake on our team this year, longtime friend, been in Cadillac forever. You know what Jake's going to do the whole time he's on the track. We've been running together for a long time as a team, so we're going to miss him. But Mason Larson's going to step in, and that kid can run on anybody's team and complement anybody's team from a stock car to a heavy mod. He can complement any team he's on.
Now, Rob, you guys are all done, right? The paint's dried. You're just hanging out waiting to load up and dry, or to head to Topeka, right? We're looking good?
As a matter of fact, we've got 3 cars in the shop, mine, Trey, and Ted's. And when I pulled in, Trey said, "Get the truck back out of the way. This is the best night we're going to have. We got to paint these things tonight." So the answer to that question is they're pretty much done.
Good.
That's
awesome.
So don't over nitpick them now. Just if they're done, leave them alone.
They're never really done, but they're pretty much done.
Very true. Very true.
So I mean, this year's no easy task. Caddy Nation, Trey Heuer, Rob, Teddy, Mason teaming up. NFG, Jacob Gould, JD Waters, Jace Lee, and Cody Bueller. That's the crew from Colorado.
Yep.
Hill Job Graphics is going to be back. Mason Hill is going to be leading the charge. Gary Russell is going to be running with them. Curtis Barnes and Jason Fiske. GH Graphics is Jamie Frost, Coy Lemming, Shan Trebe, and John Green. We've seen them run down into the top 3 the last couple of years. GFY is Steven Avis, Kyle Johnson, Tyler Schaefer, and Storm Mattis. Kansas Outlaws, another group. Justin Stevens, Clint Doherty, Douglas Gibson, and Brandon Conkle. The Outsiders, Bo DeRusso, Anthony Tripler, Derek Court, Trey Jackson. That's Kansas, Utah, New Mexico, and Kansas.
That's pretty cool.
They covered a lot of ground there with that team.
They got it covered.
Team Show Me Sliders, Corey Ludington, Jared Haas, Jarrett Rolfe, and Junior Cardwell.
Heard those names time.
Yeah. Midwest Mafia, Hammy Hamilton, Jordan Volkmer, Kyle Braun, Charlie Finkbeiner. DFC is Kyle Walsh, Charlie Johnson, Chad Davis, and Tim Paulman. Those are all from Minnesota. Team Ass Kicker, Zach Ponzer. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Brady Larson, I believe. Brett Stringer and Eric Toddy. Team Redline, Jared Van Gameren, Craig McCracken, Tyler Baker, and John DeYoung. TNT is Ethan Toddy, Hunter Ish, Connor Kelly, Tim Toddy, and then Elliott Motorsports is Dan Batdorf, Taylor Batdorf, John Scharr, and Ray Stoker. So Ray Stoker, you're going to be down there. Good to see that. Yeah, that's
cool.
3 Minnesotas and a Nebraska guy there.
Very cool.
But I mean, you look at that, and it's the same conversation. Yeah, there's no good outcomes of that heat draw.
There's no walk in the park.
Stand on the gas and go.
You know, we talked a little bit with Jacob in the first half of the show about what this has done, what Blizzard Bash as a whole has done to the level of competition. And when you look at the drivers list and the experience that is in the limited weld teams, you know, it's just as stacked as the other stuff. We've got drivers that focus solely on limited weld, and we've got drivers that run the heavy built cars that come down to run the limited weld, and they're making names for themselves just like some of these compact guys are. You know, is that having a trickle down effect to the local fairs close to you, forcing the level of competition up there, as well as the bracket of 14, 16 teams that you see every November?
And local, it just doesn't trickle down here, and it's so disappointing. We traveled northwest Iowa. That's a long way from here. We're talking 5-6 hour run up there, and that's where we ran 5 or 6 times this summer just to run against competition. And
Right.
They got good competition up there, mods and light weld. They got good drivers, good equipment, but you don't get better running against. You know, a win's not a win unless you beat somebody. I mean, yes, a check will cash, but when you beat somebody that's good, that's where it happens to me.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
So that's sort of an interesting thing where you see guys like around here for the circle track stuff that drive from Watertown so that they can run at Canandaigua.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, because you want to run against. You just got to see how you pair against the best, and
that's the thing. I mean, that's, you know, and I think Rob will probably agree, is that, you know, if you're, you know, we see Rob and Trey and Teddy at Topeka twice a year. Uh-oh. Chris lost him. Is he there?
Call him back. I think we lost him.
A little bit of
Are you still there?
technical difficulties.
Is this Rob? Okay. Yeah, it got interesting. I'm pretty sure that Jim is in the main office.
Nice. What I was going to say, Rob, is that we see you guys here at Blizzard Bash, and then we see you at Capital City Carnage, and I think in order to run at that level and be competitive, you have to, throughout the summer, you have to go out and drive against the guys that are at that level of competition in order to keep your skills honed and to improve. I mean, it wouldn't make any sense to just go somewhere where you're going to walk through and not have any competition for a win or something like that. I mean, in order to stay at that level, you have to go out and you have to find those guys. You have to run against them in order to continue doing well.
I agree. I agree. I mean, and also we drop down local stuff, and we drop down and run some stock stuff. And really, that stock, you can talk to a lot of different people. That's where you hone your driving skill in stock. I don't care what anybody says. Not to take anything away from a mod guy. Yep. Those are builders. Yes, you still got to drive them to win, but stock is where the drivers are made, I think.
Absolutely, without a doubt. I mean, that's we've touched on it before with other guys. I mean, with the way that the Weld cars are at Blizzard Bash, I mean, if you make a mistake and hit somebody at a wrong angle, chances are you're probably not going to ruin your car. But I mean, if you take a stock car and you hit somebody at the wrong angle, you're going to shift the frame rail, and then it's just going to go bad from there on out. So
it's all bad, yeah.
It definitely. I mean, we've touched on that, and I agree. I mean, that's on the lighter the build the car is, I've always felt the better the driving's got to be. I mean,
has to be.
Yeah, you got to make each hit count, and it's really you got to be good at what you're doing to be successful.
When you're going up to Iowa, are you taking your best stuff? Are you taking your Blizzard Bash motors? Are you taking your best stuff, or have you got supplemental setups that you can take out? I mean, I can see the logic of both sides. You don't want to go someplace that's not the caliber of Blizzard Bash and crack a block or do something silly, but at the same time, you don't want to leave that stuff untested and go in to Blizzard Bash cold.
To be honest with you, we run the same. I ran my Carnage, last year's Carnage car all year long, and Trey ran it all but one show this year. He got 5. I got 5, 6 runs out of it last year, 5 maybe. He got about 5 out of it this year. He won the points championship pretty much with a leftover car from the year before.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Short of one. Then he took my Carnage car from this year, ran it in the final show, and I took my Blizzard Bash car from of course last year and ran it one time. But no, we're taking honestly our Blizzard Bash and our Carnage cars and running them, and honestly we're running $1,200 fair shows up there. That's the bad part. We're pulling 5 hours getting the hotel room, and the shows we're running. I mean, that point series is big that Kansas is doing, but at the end of the day, up there it's just their fair shows, and but that's where the drivers are. That's where the rules are that we like, and we feel we build really pretty much the top of the heap in that class. Step up to mods, I get my butt kicked weekly, but we're kind of, we'd like to think we're at least at the top of the game on this bill.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't really argue. I mean, with the success you guys have had, I mean, it's it's not bragging if you can back it up, and you guys obviously back it up everywhere you go. So, I mean. Well,
we try. We'll win humble, we'll lose humble, just the same.
Yeah. Yep. You brought Trey up, and I've been always wanted to ask Trey, and whenever we get around, he kind of gets quiet and doesn't really talk a lot. So I didn't want to put him on the spot, but when he started derbying, was he like any young kid would be? Because like when I first started derbying, it was right after I graduated my senior year in high school.
This is 1943, just so
whatever.
You know.
Rob's older than I am, so now you're making fun of Rob too, there, Smarty.
Right.
But
I can take it.
when Trey started, was he a normal kid that just liked to wreck stuff, or was he a smart driver and was looking for a win from a young age?
Man, he was. I don't know whether it's good or bad, but his very first car. I guess that was 3-4 years ago when he was 15. We built him a stock 03, stock suspension 03. And everybody can talk about, without the cradle, without all this, that, and the other. Those cars are hard no matter what if you can keep the wheels on them. So He drove that 03. The first couple times he drove it, he kept getting the wheels knocked off of it. He was getting a little discouraged. His mom was taking a little heat from his mom. Finally, he came out and like a light switched, and he started junking everything on the track. And he did that for 2 or 3 shows. And then he started thinking, okay, if I drive smart, I'm taking home some money. So then he started being kind of a money driver, but he can he could shift from kill something to money drive just like that. He sees a track, not just because he's my boy, but he sees a track well beyond his years.
Oh, absolutely. We touched on that last year at Capital City Carnage. I mean,
you come up around the drivers that he's come up around.
Yeah.
You can't help but rub a little bit of that off.
That's the thing, though. I mean, and that's what I really wanted to touch on was, it was what Rob just said, is he is so far advanced beyond his years. I mean, he's still a young kid, and let's be honest, we all got into demolition derby because it's fun to wreck stuff. It's fun to see what you can do, and but he's got to where, hey, like his dad just said, I can make some money doing this. And I mean, we watched him the last couple of years at Capital City Carnage have great runs in the feature. I mean, second or third there last year. I mean, he drove right down to the end. And I've just been so impressed with him. I mean, such a great kid. I mean, when he does talk to us, he's a very polite young man, and he's a little shy, but I mean, he's so far advanced on the track. He does such a great job. But I just wondered, for somebody that young having that kind of success. But
this is cool about having Trey around.
What's that?
You don't need a frame straightener.
Yeah.
No, my God, that kid. And the older I get, I can't swing a sledgehammer nor do I want to like I used to. I got it. They had a tool sale at Napa the other day, and I got a 12-pound hammer, and boy, he could swing it like I could swing a 2-pounder.
Yeah, Trey's a pretty big kid. He's a pretty big kid, but no, it's cool. I mean, it's cool to see you and him enjoy the same sport so much, and it's my oldest he's getting involved with me, but. I'm a little harder on him. I told him he can, when he's done playing football, he can start derbying because he's got a whole life to derby, and he can only play football for so long. So, but it's cool to see from a dad's standpoint, to see the success you guys have and how much fun it is to you guys have together. It's really cool.
Yeah, and he just never was. His sister plays all the sports, and she run her first powder puff this year. Yep. And I've never ridden in a car. I've driven it, but I've never ridden one once. So I taught Trey into riding with his sister, and she won her first time in the car.
That's awesome.
Against like 18 girls. So yeah, it was pretty cool to see to watch those two. I really got a kick out of that.
Yep. And of course, I mean, we gotta touch on Teddy. Teddy's always putting on a show when he's on the track. So
yeah, buddy.
It's always awesome to watch what he does. He never lets you down, man. He usually gets right after stuff and is known for making some junk out there.
Teddy is one of the funnest people there is to watch drive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and one thing certain about Teddy is he's going to hit something hard, and he's going to see the whole track. Yep. We may mirror Trey, or when Junior's kind of running with us, we'll kind of work together. And Ted, I mean, he is a wild card. He's going to be making jump from one end of the track to the other.
Very true.
That's
very true.
I like watching Teddy drive because he's a hard driver, but he still maintains that element of intelligence.
Oh, absolutely.
Where he's not just haymakering whatever he get. No. He's going to hit you in the weakest spot of your car as hard as he can, and then back away with a couple scratches.
Yeah.
Your car is going to be paying the price every shot.
Yeah, very smart.
I remember that one.
He's throwing himself out on the hood, just smiling ear to ear, and it's a joy to watch.
Yep. Yeah, he definitely has fun when he's on the track.
I don't remember which time it was, but we were out there, and he was catching the sides of the bumpers and shifting the frames.
Yep.
Remember? And it was just it was hitting square on the end of his rail or right between the two in the front.
Yeah.
And he was just laying front frames left and right, just back and forth, back and forth. I don't know if that was the year he got Mad Dog.
Yeah, I think it was.
But I mean, just the shot placement was phenomenal.
Yeah, it's cool to watch. I mean, that's another thing we've touched on, why Blizzard Bash is such a destination derby. I mean, because you can see these guys, and it's just so amazing to watch how good these drivers are. And I mean, they're on the track with other great drivers, so I mean, they're earning everything they get. There's no, you just read through the list, and there's no easy way to the feature. And when you get to the feature, it's if you win it, you've actually earned it, and that's it's just so great to watch and be a part of.
Go ahead.
Last year we've been giving Trey a little bit of trouble. Last year he had a gas cap come off in the heat, so he ran 12 seconds in the heat, lost a gas cap, and of course he went to the feature with fresh carless plates because the gas cap wasn't on. So I'm a little bit worried that everybody's gas cap might come off this year, and we may have to run the consolation.
I mean, with so much, it's funny you say that though. But I mean, there's a degree of of truth to that. You know, in one sense, you guys have had a lot of success, and success brings bullseyes. Mm-hmm. And then by the same token, you guys have had a lot of success. So it's no longer just a matter of, well, we just go hope to make the feature, is it?
I mean, you never want to underestimate anybody. Luck is when preparation and opportunity meet.
Yes.
You make your own luck, but I mean, he draws everything. I mean, you pick a hard running team, and it's going to take some out of the car. If you're lucky enough to get by them, it's going to take a lot out of the car. I mean, there's a lot of good teams out there, but and there's going to be a lot more old iron than what there was. You take a Cadillac against a Crown Vic with no plates, and the Crown Vic's going to be in bad shape. But I mean, these guys are doing really good things with the Buicks, and even them Palas, the Pontiacs, all that stuff. So all those cars, he draws still everything. I stand by that.
So who do you want in the first round?
I can tell you who I don't want. I don't want Team Show Me Sliders. That's who I don't want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're all going to have junk. That kind of happened this summer. We cleaned the track off, and then me and Trey and Corey ran another 45 minutes after we cleaned the track in about 15 minutes, and then me and Corey and Trey ran another 30 minutes until it was over.
That's awesome. I bet you that was a good show to watch.
It was a good show. It was long. It was long, and me and Corey both just about burn up motors for us.
Oh man, yeah. It's a good thing. Good thing it ended when it did.
Yeah, no kidding.
What happened to the motor?
No.
What happened to that engine?
Did you lose him again?
No.
Oh.
No, that wasn't us.
Oh.
That wasn't us. Did we lose you?
There's a phone ringing down the hallway. Now we did.
Yep. Yeah, now everybody's gone.
Technical difficulties.
Right. So
Chris is gonna.
That's
not us.
I think Jim is in the office and he's using the phone and it's knocking our phone calls off.
Well, I just heard the phone ringing down there, so we're going to try to get Rob on to finish up the interview.
That's why it's live.
That's why it's live. If it was easy, everybody'd do it. It'd be 7,000 podcasts.
He called back. There it is. You there? All right.
Rob, you got to excuse Chris. This is his first time doing this. He's a beginner.
Like, hey, we're getting ready for 250 next week, and we still look like rookies.
Now, Rob, I think the most important question that us Derby fans is how many Cadillacs does Team Cadillac have at their disposal? I mean, how many do we have sitting around out there?
Man, I probably got probably 12.
That's not bad.
Is that counting the ones that have been left over from years past?
No. It's not counting those.
Because it doesn't seem like you guys ever get rid of anything. You just wait till it's the right time to bring it back out.
You know what? I kind of pride myself in that. A lot of guys are like, how are you guys just don't drive hard? If you're running them 7, 8, 9, 10 times competitively, how's that happen? Well, putting them together is as big an art. Rebuilding them is as big an art as it is building them the first time.
That is 100% true. Yes,
absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what. This year I ran my first 75 two-door, and I really liked the nose of it. I feel like I was pretty happy with the nose of that. So, and mine was just stock. I mean, I can't do any of the stuff you guys do. So, I'm definitely have become a fan of the Cadillacs without a doubt.
Right, pound for pound, any build really. I mean, obviously, I'm got a personal preference, but even in any build, a Cadillac to me is the way to go. But a Cadillac with a few plates on it in the right place is like hold on, folks.
Oh yeah, that's what I like watching. I like watching when a Cadillac hits a Vic and it just accordions the front end of the Vic. Yeah, because I'm anti-Vic, so it's great to see Cadillacs junk Vics. I really like that.
I do too, especially when I'm looking over the hood of the Cadillac.
Is the 75 two-door the best to go with?
Well, really, we like the 3s and 4s, but I think we're all taking 5s and 6s this year. they're a little easier to find. I'm finding tons and tons of 5s and 6s, and not quite as many 3s and 4s. 3s and 4s are usually a little thicker frame, but I think with the build, the plates, as long as we don't junk them in the heat, I think they'll be fine. The way they're taking the cables away from the fingers and stuff, so really or secondary frame, however you want to call them, 3s and 4s. So that's going to, with that being said, I don't think you can use them to their potential. Even they're probably still a little better, but not enough to burn them up on it. And at the end of the day, I mean, $8,000 sounds like a lot to win, but by the time you split that full waste, that's $2,000. So, we're going to try to get it done with a little lesser car this year. Of course, Trey was our 5 last year. That then he finished. He won it for us in a 5. So I think we can do it.
So the correct answer to anybody in his home area that was listening should have been the best ones in 1981. Don't pick up the 3s, 4s, 5s, or 6s. They're junk. Leave them alone. Call me.
Call Rob. He'll take that right to the scrapyard for you.
Is there anybody that you want to make mention of? I mean, I know the entire cheering section comes and supports you, and they don't just show up. They don't just show up on race day. They're in the orbit all the time for Team Caddy Nation.
Right, I've got a wonderful wife that supports me and Trey and lets us do what we do, and without much heat, and she enjoys it, but she doesn't live it and breathe it like me and Trey does. Will White, he comes over and helps me a lot. Randy Calvert, he helps us a lot. Will's boy Alex, he's getting where he helps us some. Paul Smith, which he's running 80s stock for the first time out there. I picked up a ski cradle, and he come and helped me put that all together. It's the first time I've ever ran one of those. But, of course, Teddy, he helps us out. Junior Cardwell, if I need a hand, he'll come down. Corey, he's a great guy. He'll always step in and help us out. But one thing I would like to say real quick is Teddy's got a 10-year-old son. Oh, yeah. And he just last week got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. Mm-hmm. So he's insulin dependent, and we're doing a kind of a fundraiser deal out there. So if anybody that can kick in, I mean, if a lot of guys kick in just a little bit, it'll be a huge deal to those guys because they got a long road ahead of them.
Yeah, I just saw that on Facebook.
Yep.
It's
he's got type 1.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, so he's going to be insulin dependent for the rest of his life, and they're doing real good with it, But it's just that's just so much on a 10-year-old. It's so much on a whole family. Yeah. It's overwhelming to me. I think I'm organized. My wife's organized, but just the lifestyle changes is going to be crazy. Not to mention the insulin, and all the stuff that comes with that. So.
Yep.
It's the same thing my brother has.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep. He's got a pump and everything.
Really?
I remember one time we were young, and he was changing his set. Mm-hmm. And he was trying to put the needle in, and it happened to run right along the side of a nerve in his stomach, and they couldn't get it out. My dad had to come down and take it out, and it was bad news.
It's tough
because the pump was a better option, because his fingers were getting so calloused over from a young age that you couldn't get that. It was bad. I mean,
it's tough when young kids get sick like that, man.
It is. He's a little trooper. I mean, he's in it. They were down this weekend. He was checking his own blood. I mean, he's good. I mean, he's embraced it. I mean, you got to, but he's doing real well with it so far.
Good. Well, wish him all the best from us. I mean, we hopefully things turn out good.
I sure will. And I'll say it, that place is going to miss you guys. I'm not saying someone can't broadcast it, but you guys, there's nobody can match y'all's enthusiasm. All of you. I mean, from Decker, Brian, Ben, you guys you're so enthusiastic, and those heat draws will never be the same.
Thanks.
Well, they might be the same someday.
Yeah, things may. You never know.
Just
okay.
As long as
I'll keep my fingers crossed.
As long as nobody overreacts and everybody can think smooth and clear, I'm optimistic that 2019 will be a good year.
Yipper.
Man, that's good to hear. That's awesome to hear because, like I said, I enjoy the heck out of you guys, and I know a lot of people do. And it's y'all's enthusiasm, man. You guys really love what you're doing. It's obvious you're doing the same. We're not doing this for the money. We're doing it for the fun, and it's obvious that you guys are doing it for the fun as well.
Thanks, we appreciate that.
It is a lot of fun.
It is.
It's a lot of fun. That's for sure.
But best of luck to you guys, and hopefully we'll see you, sometime maybe around March.
Sounds good. And maybe, hopefully one of us will be having a phone call with you here in a couple of weeks.
That sounds
Absolutely.
good.
That'd be cool.
We're waiting on it.
Right on, guys. You guys take care.
Thanks
All right,
a lot, Rob. We'll see you
Best of
soon.
luck.
Hey, thank you. Bye-bye.
There goes Rob Heuer. Just real quick, I want to say thank you for not correcting me when we started the show. Remember last time we had Rob on? I said his name and everything, and then you pointed out that I said his name wrong. And then it turned out it was actually right. And
Well, you're Chris Marquardt.
it blew my mind.
I've never
Do you
been-
think that Mrs. Heuer knows that if Topps ever started making Demolition Derby baseball style cards, that she's married to the first gold card
Think so?
guy? I mean,
Yeah.
it'd be hard to argue. I mean,
Yeah.
they do so much for their home area, for Demolition Derby as a whole, and then they've worked a ton with different programs and stuff out there. It's just a good group of guys.
Absolutely. What do you think, Chris Marquardt?
I just hope we don't get in trouble because, hey, we're looking forward to you guys winning again, but there's another 15 teams that we know a bunch of people on that are going to be like, what about us?
Well, I mean, it's not necessarily that. I mean, he said he hoped to be talking to us, and we're looking forward to talking to whoever the winners are.
There's a lot of teams that are due for good luck, and there's a lot of teams that are perennial front runners.
And I don't want to go out on a limb.
And they're going to collide.
I don't want to go out on a limb, but next week maybe we'll talk to a national team or a qualifying team.
You think?
And
maybe? We'll probably grab a bunch of them like we do every year.
There's some nasty teams in the national bracket. I mean, how many wins do you think?
I bet there's a dozen.
At least in that national bracket. And there's going to be some eye-opening things people are going to see on that track. And if you can't be there, get the pay-per-view because you're going to be surprised by some of the stuff on that track. I'm not going to say what, but you pay attention. You're going to be surprised by some stuff.
Are you talking about the convertibles?
No.
El Caminos?
No.
Oh. I know not what I speak of.
But hard to believe we've done this 249 times.
Yep,
That's just
250.
in studio, right? That doesn't count.
That's just studio. Solely studio. Just in the room. And I think actually episode 33 disappeared somehow. So we jumped, but I mean, for all intents and purposes, we've got probably 70 at large. So,
No, but I should probably ask you this question or next week.
okay.
But I'm going to ask you this question. You can answer it now, or you can wait and give me an answer next week. I'm going to leave it up to you.
Go.
What was your vision when we did the first one?
You mean the long term?
Your vision.
The whole
Your vision.
thing was we haven't got there yet.
Okay, good answer. All righty, we'll see you next week, folks.
Right?
You can elaborate.
There's still more to come. I feel better now as let's say as unconfident as I am in the technology that we've got right now, having been band-aided together and fixed and stuff like that, to go venture back out into the field. I feel better now than I have most of the summer.
You were in a good place for a lot of the summer.
No, I was in a great place. I was home, but it wasn't necessarily a great situation. But we've got a little bit of headway, and that little bit of headway turned into a little bit more headway, and we've got some other stuff that's just very, very cursory on the table. And we'll see where it goes. 2019 we still need to get through the rest of 2018 before we worry about it, because tomorrow's never a given, right? God willing, we'll see what 2019 brings, huh?
Yeah, I'm optimistic.
Yeah, good. Somebody has to be. All right, that's it. 249 in the books. We're going to be back for 250 next week. We'll try and go around the horn with as many national qualifying bracket drivers as we can. We'll probably get 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, something like that. We'll get everybody lined up, and we'll run through all those, and that's the go home. After that, Blizzard Bash will be kicking off. That's going to do it for us here in the North Park building at Academy Square. 249 in the books. We'll see you next time.
Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of Maymania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel, and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York.